jhlincoln.com to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through July 11th are flat iron steaks for just $12.99 per pound, a $2 discount per pound from normal price. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations opening soon at 27th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha, with soft openings in mid-July. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If your home water doesn't taste right, look right, or smell right, just call Bryant for the solution to your water problem. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine, but lots of warmth too. We'll see a high of around 93. Tonight, we'll see a chance of showers and storms and a low of around 67. And tomorrow basically looks like a repeat of today with more sunshine in the forecast, but can't lots of storms late in the day. Tomorrow, we'll see a high of around 92. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 92.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin, you can't hold me, man. No blocking you, no holding you,
yeah,
none of it.
Yeah, Elon couldn't stop me, man. Hey, what's up? This is Old School. Jay Foreman, DP, is still in Vegas with Strick, handling some business. We are brought to you by the Mercado, certified Piedmontese, special ingredients and butcher shop, located at 84th and Havelock. Every type of meat and every type of cut. I am pumped, Austin. We are inching towards the end of AU basketball, whatever you want to club basketball. So it's going to be a lot more grilling and chilling time. A couple overtime victories this Sunday. So
Well
it
done,
was all
well
it was all the boys. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Punk those sophomores and juniors again?
Yeah, but this time it was another team. We played some pretty dang good. The Under Armour team, 8th grade team, they're pretty good. And we even had some battles with them, so we were lucky enough to hit a 3 to win the game.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Was it a kid you expected to hit a 3?
It was a kid I expected to shoot.
Okay.
And it's funny, he can, I don't know, like contort his body. Is that what even do? Like he can and get through. I mean, he's like it's almost like he doesn't have like a back or vertebrae. He can get through anything. So we got it. It was kind of a real intense game. And I always talk to the kids about you have to shoot with the right amount of arc with leg drive and stuff like that and shoot from the floor. And I talked to him about the axis of the ball in the rim. And I'm surprised that I've been talking to him about it since 4th grade. And I always tell him if you hit the front of the rim or the rim and the axis of the ball isn't on top of the axis of the ball, you won't be able to get any type of lucky bounces. It had to be a millimeter above the rim. It hit, went up, right in the air, went in. Pandemonium set. It was pretty cool for them because it might be the last time this group plays together, and they kind of had the hard way, which is good for them. Taught them some life lessons. Saw some kids really take step forward, and so I was happy for them just because of the journey that some of them have been on. And so that was the highlight of the weekend. But the grill. One thing I did do, I cleaned the grill, which is a lot. Hey, that's a lot of work.
I just did mine at the start of the summer, and if you do it right, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Because once you start doing it, you might be like, I'm gonna go like halfway. But once you kind of get in there and you're already dirty, you're like, I gotta go the whole way. Because I clean the grates, I clean the burners, I clean the whole grill. Take this grill has propane. Take that out, chip away about all the stuff I should have done. It lets me know. It's kind of like when you move, you should have got rid of all this junk and you decide I'll keep it because you never think you're gonna move. I should have done that with the grill a long time ago. But
are you a propane guy or charcoal guy? If you have,
I am both.
Okay, nice.
I am both. I like both. I like charcoal better. Obviously, it's more time consuming, but I have one of those like steel flute things that can kind of get them going a little bit faster. But I definitely like charcoal better. It's kind of like I'm not a hunter, but I've met a few people that hunt, and the really true hunters believe you need to hunt with the bow. That's what I was told. And this dude was pretty big. I'm gonna take and he had a lot of trophies.
Yep.
I'm gonna take his word for it.
Sure.
And he had all the videos to go with it, so he had verification. It was confirmed. And so, anyways, so yeah, that's what it is. We're gonna be popping, and in Old School, obviously we're going to touch on the Northwestern. I do think there is some parallels to that with a little bit that's going on in Georgia. I know Kirby Smart is, I wouldn't say he's happy that Northwestern is in the news, but I think he's a little relieved because the pressure was starting to mount on him. People were even calling for his job on a national level about him and their handling of multiple sexual assault allegations and issues down there within his football program. And so, I'm just going to talk about it on I guess a top-down view. I like to look at it, of these situations. Talk about hazing, what's really hazing versus normal football stuff, and is it needed or whatever, and really talk about. I'm not going to get into it or any details, or anything like too intimate details. But I do believe, like when you get in the NFL, I saw. When I was in college and saw some guys, certain teams would go a little bit. I felt like, maybe too far. You heard there was a situation down in New Orleans one time. tight end. I think Cam Cleveland. I remember him because I think he was Washington. He was a problem. I mean, it kind of went a little bit too far. But then there was some stuff where some rookies might get taped up and dunked in cold water. That's just part of it. You might have to like carry bags and stuff like that. And we talked about it on Sunday morning, 7 to 8, inside the huddle, brought to you by the AMI there, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We appreciate their support and sponsorship. But inside the huddle, we covered it a little bit. We're going to cover a little bit more today. But my initial thoughts in the last next 2 or 3 minutes Northwestern is this, and this is just the first, and this is what has to happen. And I hate to say it because I'm not a big, even when Scott was here, or even in Mike Riley, and even Bo, I'm just not a big get on the radio. He needs fired. He lost the game. He needs fired. This happened. He needs fired. But in this situation, I hate to say it. And when I say I hate to say it, because I hate saying he needs to be fired, because there's too many people that get on the internet, Twitter, whatever, and it's just done freely. It's just said freely. Mm-hmm. He needs to lose his scholarship. He should never play football again. He should never do this again. Nobody, look, there's no perfect person out here. There isn't. There's only one that we know. Mm-hmm. Okay. But right now on this earth, right now living, there's not anybody perfect. There's nobody that has a perfect life and don't make mistakes or hasn't made mistakes. But I will say this, in this situation, and again, I hate saying it for the simple fact of being that guy, for the betterment of Coach Fitzgerald, and more importantly, the betterment of whoever was subjected to, these type of, whatever scale it was on for them and the players, mm-hmm. which he's directly responsible for. However, 85 or 100 guys that are going to camp, for the betterment of them, the university, everybody, the president, athletic director, there needs to be a resolution very soon to part ways. And like I said with Strick, in the crossover, if I was Northwestern, if I was Pat, I would obviously have my agent and lawyers. We would be working out some sort of exit package, because he can fight this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it could get real ugly, right?
But the damage is already done.
So I won't be greedy. You don't be stupid. Let's do it. And I would just send out one short thing and just leave it at that. And then still go through the process and then go from there. And then probably hire an interim coach. And, quite frankly, his longest tenured coach probably has to go too. That's called collateral damage. And that's where I had such a problem with some people that were employed here before, that when you are in these high paying positions, that's fine that you're getting paid. In some cases, you deserve it. But your actions or lack thereof, how you treat people, how you view your job, how you do your job, most importantly, affects more people than you. And I learned that from Bud Grant, who his son was my high school coach. But more importantly, Wade Phillips told me that, and Jerry Burns told me. He's the Viking coach. I always send out at football season. I always send out the famous Jerry Burns rant, because Jerry's, rest in peace. He was like a mentor to me growing up through high school. So he's the one that invented the West Coast offense, because he was the one throwing to my dad out of the backfield. But he lived right by me or whatever, was around, and I was a ball boy, and so, and his rant is awesome. But he used to talk to me about coaching, because he knew I didn't know anything about coaching, so I was kind of a sounding board, But he would talk to me about it when I was a ball boy, and I'd be in those meetings, and he'd just be, cussing underneath his breath. And he's like, I got to do this and do this. And he's like, everything that you do as a coach, when you're a head coach, the last thing you think about is you. You're always thinking about the players. You're always thinking about the families. You're always thinking about the assistant coaches. Am I working them too hard? Or they get enough time off? The last thing I'm going to think, but that's part of it. That's part of being a leader. So unfortunately, when you're in a position like Pat Fitzgerald, you got to go.
And here's the thing. You're a grown man. You've thought this through. I don't need to ease your conscience. But the thing about this is you're not being reactionary, right? You've read the report. You read the counter report. Right. You heard the new allegations and then the counter to them. And that's what it doesn't seem like Northwestern did, right? They tried to gloss over it. But everyone that's come on this airwaves and spoken about it, I feel confident in saying has read the reports, not just saying he needs to be fired because of some, moral stance or overreactionary. Like, we've read the reports. We think we know as much as we can about what's going on, and it's led us to this conclusion.
Yeah, it sucks because Pat Fitch did just your inner competitor, and we'll go to breaker. Your inner competitor means I'm going to fight, especially if you feel strongly that this is not your fault. This is not what happened. This is something that's being overblown. If you know for a fact in your heart, you will fight that tooth and nail. But then sometimes you have to be strategic in the fights that you fight and think about everybody else.
Right.
You got to think. He no matter what Pat Fitzgerald does in this situation, the damage is done. It's done. It's on Wikipedia, I'm sure, on Google or whatever. So even if he is found not guilty, or he's obviously not going to trial, but if he's found not responsible, it'll be very small. And that's the problem. But we're going to go to break. We're going to talk a little bit in more in depth, even about some of the allegations, who made the allegations, the countersuits, what it really means, what I think about it. Old school. We're going to bring in a little Kirby Smart in Georgia, in some other situations. Talk about that. We had the Major League Baseball draft. I felt like I'm never been a baseball guy. I love baseball. I grew up loving baseball, but I felt like the number 4 pick is probably the safest pick. I think he was the most Major League Baseball ready that'll be there next year, but the guy that went number 1 has the best sauce. So anyways, Jay Foreman, Old School, me and Austin running it today. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V
is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
If your home water doesn't taste right, look right, or smell right, just call Bryant for the solution to your water problem. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
Hey, CNC machinists, do you feel like you're in a dead-end job with your boss hovering over your shoulder? That's so annoying. Not at Garner Industries. We provide the opportunity and trust our CNC machinists to bring the talent. I'm Bob Williams, HR Director at Garner Industries, and we are looking for new team members in our CNC department. At Garner Industries, you'll work in a clean, climate-controlled, and safe environment with team members who want to see you succeed. You will also enjoy 4-day work weeks, great benefits, and a positive working culture. Interested? Apply on our career page at garnerindustries.com.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
Old School with DP and J.
As long as it's taken for him to build up that program to be pretty successful by their standards and look, pretty successful by Big Ten West standards, you have to take that into accountability. You can't be an impulsive, in the moment type of decision maker, because how you handle Pat Fitzgerald could stymie you from hiring, because those coaches talk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Old School, once again, brought to you by the Mercado, certified Piedmontese, special ingredients at Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, every type of meat, every type of cut. Jay Foreman, Austin, we're in here July 10th. Again, I always say this, man, as much as it's what they call the dog days of summer, there's always something going on. And so obviously this thing with Northwestern is starting to pick up tread. We kind of covered it on Friday when me, you, and Nick were talking about it, and we knew, and Nick predicted that Monday would be more stuff, and came out through the weekend. And so the claims, and I know it's been covered that, people talked about it before, and there's always some sort of, I won't even call it initiation, but there's always just the normal locker room stuff to, you kind of, it's just part of becoming a team. And I don't think it's very prevalent anymore, because I don't, and here's why it's not prevalent anymore. And then we'll get into, what, supposedly they were doing at Northwestern. They had to be doing something in some form. I'm assuming you're just not going to make up that they were purge masks or whatever. I had to Google that. I'm like, who would put that on? First of all, before I even get into why it's not even any hazing anymore, I would dare you. I could promise you, at all 185 pounds, we'd be fighting every day if you did some stuff like that to me. Now, you might be tearing my butt up, but I can tell you, until I win, we're going to fight, and I'm going to catch you when you better always have your head on a swivel. Now, back to this. Here's why I don't think there's a lot of initiation or hazing, whatever, and I'm not getting into the words or whatever. There's just not a lot of that anymore, because a lot of these kids are coming into college from high school without the how can I say this? They don't have to respect older players. Now, down in Alabama and Georgia and the teams that are winning, there is a pecking order. But majority of colleges, I don't think there's a pecking order. These kids come in sometimes with more fanfare than the guys that are starting and are actually really good players, right? NIL, Twitter followers, Instagram, being covered sometimes for 3 or 4 years before getting to college, ticker tape parade to get them to commit. We've seen it here many times at different magnitudes. So they come in and don't, and sometimes if the older leadership, which we talked about in previous staffs, is only about themselves, then you don't create this type of stepping stone till you earn your respect. You might be playing, but you still got to earn your internal stripes, because you haven't been here and been through a winter conditioning. If you come in Sunday or, in the summer or in the fall camp, you haven't been through a spring ball. You haven't been through the grind yet, right? You really haven't earned getting into the varsity locker room in some cases. I don't even know if they have. And I don't even think here they have a varsity locker room.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so we were in North Stadium. Man, I'll tell you, it was funny. I remember, my high school, it was just a regular high school. It wasn't nothing fancy. And, but if you wanted to drop a deuce, you had a regular place to go in there and drop a deuce. So we in the stadium over there. They just have one little thing. So if you come around the corner, you might see somebody dropping a deuce. But the thing is, it created camaraderie, motivation. And we never did anything like to this magnitude, and nothing really even significant that I can even remember. But I just think right now, like the way the landscape of college football is, I don't think that's it. I think a lot of these kids feel like once they got here, they already arrived. That's why a lot of them fail. But I think when you have some sort of, you have to earn the respect, right? And it's not given to you. I think you see the more sustainable programs, and even if they're playing as a freshman. So that's why I don't think a lot of it's going on across the landscape of college football. And I might be wrong, but That's just my initial feeling. Now into this, in some of the where what they're saying this is, I think this sounds like, and I got plenty of friends that are in fraternities. This sounds like some dudes that was on the football team that were in fraternities, and they brought that mess over into the football program, and then it just went way too far. That's what it sounds like. I don't know anything that in those things that has to do with football.
Not one.
Not one. I don't even know. Like, okay, look, when I was a younger player, I've made mental errors. I made mental errors when I was in the league. I'm telling you, when I was about to fight Reggie Herring, me and him were fighting because I had a couple mental errors, and I'm in the NFL, the highest of the highest, right? I messed up, but the pride told me I wasn't going to admit it. The pride told him he ain't backing down. He a former linebacker. I'm a linebacker. We're going to go at it, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, this doesn't seem like it's going to help me learn more.
Well, see, that's just the thing. There's a line between carrying pads, picking up cones, getting water, getting coffee, the chicken you were talking about yesterday, right? That's quote unquote initiation. That's being a rookie, right? And then the longer you're in the league, the less that stuff you have to do.
Right.
What happened at Northwestern was not that. Those are two completely different ends of the spectrum.
This is personal violation. Well, if this is violating people's, first of all, your personal space, I'm
personal
not
space, your emotions,
sexuality, your emotions. I would just think if this was happening for years, there'd be more people that already would care. First of all, I'd be about it. I'd be like, I could be calling my dad and say, listen, dude, hey, these dudes came in here with lights off, 8 dudes. Dad, listen, either you coming to pick me up or I'm going to be home tomorrow. I got to find somewhere else to play. It's not because I can't play here. I don't want to play with these dudes. So I just feel like, I think it's something that came into the program, and then it's almost like it seems like there's like, you ever hear when people talk about like classes that come into middle schools, like it's a good class, not a lot of trouble. Then you get one class where you got like 8 of those kids and they just ruin it for everybody.
Yep.
I think it's something like that. You had some guys that were in there and they took it way too far and thought it was funny. And they didn't think about the ramifications of it. And now you're whoever these 8 to 10 guys are, or, senior leadership is involved. And we're not even talking about Fitzgerald yet. Because I'm going to ask you about, they had to have some sort of unity council. You got captains on the team, those guys. Here's what they didn't think about, and they're young. You are going to be a part of, I'm assuming this is going to go to some sort of court. Right. You are a part of the downfall of the Northwestern program that might not never come back. Whoever you 10 are, this person or persons that made the allegations, Pat Fitzgerald certainly, and whoever played on the team that knew about it during that time. You're going to be pulling in a lot of players, because as many players that you could pull in and say, Austin, don't you remember me telling you about this in the dorms in 19 whatever or 2000 whatever? Then you're going to be pulling in 2 guys and saying that was never a part of my experience. You're going to be dragging a lot of people on this. So you're going to be a part of the initial people that started this process or actions in some form or fashion, is the part of the downfall of a program that, where by Northwestern standards, has been built up bigger than I ever thought it would, respectable across the nation, going to bowl games and beating teams they didn't have no business beating, having a high profile coach turn down NFL jobs, having different, having uniforms that are somewhat catchy, being truly involved in the city of Chicago and thinking that this is our, university. It's a big deal that's only going to get bigger as time goes on.
I think that's true. And the fact that we know, so the initial allegations, we still don't know who made them. That person's still anonymous.
Which is weird to me.
It is, but I have one thought on that I'll get to in just a sec. It'd be better, I think, if we knew, but again, I'll get to that in a sec. We did hear more today come out about maybe some racial stuff, and that guy actually gave his name and his experiences on the team. So kind of a follow-up to the initial allegation. So we at least know one name of someone who said, yeah, some not great stuff was going on. The reason I wonder if we don't know the name of the initial accuser here.
He's still on the team?
No, off the team. But think about kind of what we were talking about with all the Northwestern people in media, right? I mean, it thinks of itself as a Midwestern Ivy League caliber school.
Oh, for sure.
Those are connections all over the place. If this guy puts his name out there with how powerful a lot of Northwestern alums are, not just in media, but
just
across
general,
the Midwest
Chicago,
in general, I'm sure this guy doesn't want to, tank his chances of getting a job, right? If he's looking into that realm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, these are things you got to think about. You can't make it. I mean, look, I'm not saying don't do it, but these are things you got to think about. And that's why I think it's going to go to court and there's going to be some sort of lawsuit. Because he's taking a risk in the, I guess you could call it politics, but Northwestern is very powerful in the media type of, realm. Michael Wilbon is on their board of trustees. So I'm sure I will say this, they know who this is. The players on the team know who this is.
Have to know.
First of all, he went to the university November 30th. It was a week after the season was over. So those players know who it is. And then they went into the investigation. I'm sure they asked players on the present team. People can connect the dots real easy, and
especially when you've been in the locker room with someone.
Especially when you've been in the locker room. And I'm sure he's talked to different people about it. So yeah, it's a sticky situation. There's a lot of the web of this is very, very spread and wide. Is going to spread very wide. I can see why his name is anonymous.
But it's weird that it's only one guy, right?
One.
Not a few more that came with him. And that's where I wonder too. Did he go to the university before or after exit meetings? Did he even go to exit meetings? Does that make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to think. I would have liked to think there was a process to it that, I would have went. First of all, I'm assuming this happened more than once, right? That's what it sounds like, right? To him. So I would have liked to think he went to a position coach or to head coach, first before, or just to let you know, hey, dude, I talked to you on week 2 about this. This happened to me again week 8. Okay, I talked to my position coach. He didn't do anything. So I'm just letting you know in this exit meeting, as I walk out of here, I'm headed to the president's office. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, or just give him an FU because you didn't help me out when you're supposed to, and you probably, or whatever the conversation would be. If it just be weird that if it happened, then you just circumvented everybody, unless it was kind of like, like, hey, don't come and talk to me about anything besides football or
Didn't
whatever.
feel you could trust the coach,
right? And the whole racial thing. I haven't read that part, but it's, I think I know for a fact they made a priority of hiring, looking for different type of, coaches. Hired some minority coaches, younger coaches, to try to boost their recruiting. I mean, look, man, it's a situation. We 2 hours isn't going to be long enough because there's a lot of things you haven't even thought about it from. We haven't even talked about it from Fitzgerald's side of things. We haven't, and he has a right to defend himself too. This isn't guilty to proven innocent. This is innocent to proven guilty. He has a right to defend himself. You have to think about from the players on the team's perspective, right? This guy is a teammate. Does he really have a bone to pick? Is he going too far? Is he over embellishing really what happened? Or God forbid that he was an older player and he participated in it himself as some form of fashion.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm just playing all sides here. He could have came in and this happened to him as a freshman, and then maybe by a junior he was a part of the initiation or whatever this is as well. Well, then now you lose credibility. Now you become accomplice. Now the whole thing is messy, right? Because now you're actually pointing a finger at somebody else, but then the thumb's coming right back at you. That's a Bo Pelini type of thing. But there's a lot of things that can happen and do it. And I know also when people, if his name came out, and Northwestern has 2 of the most powerful people in sports media right now that are everywhere, and they spread past just their initial shows. Mike Greenberg and Wilbon. And I'm sure there's other people, but them 2 are the bell cows. They are. So not saying that they would turn a blind eye and go to bat for Northwestern, But if they feel a certain way, they
have the platform to say
something. They have the platform to say something, and that could be, restricting as well. So I don't know. I mean, I think legally, I'm sure the president has some sort of lawsuit, knowing the one's coming. I'm sure when they he said he met with talk to the president. I'm sure lawyers were there, or at least on that conference call or Zoom. It's a very, it's a situation. It's going to be an ongoing story 5 years from now, where you're going to, kind of like the Penn State thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be touched on. There's going to be more information, but I'm surprised, but not surprised that it's happened somewhere. I'm pretty surprised it happened at Northwestern, but then I'm not. Because a lot of those kids are, they're football players, but they got a lot of. I just feel like it's a little weird. I look at Northwestern different now. Like it's like, oh, those are great. Fundamentally sound overachievers, but it's like they talk about this stuff as team bonding. Like, dude, I don't want to be your teammate. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like I said, I barely want to be in the shower next to you, man. I'll hate your
shower at home.
Yeah. So it's they definitely are different, but it'll be interesting to see when or if you hear something from Pat Fitzgerald or his lawyers. When you hear the reconsideration, which I think he's just going to suspend. Look, I always say this. When they say indefinitely, it's just a matter of time before you get fired. That has to happen by the end of the week. And if he takes the Friday, that's 5 days too long. Indefinitely.
Well, they tried to news dump the suspension last Friday.
Yeah. It was kind of just slid in there.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks while you're off, but they need to figure it out. They can't put a game number on it. They got to figure it out. But anyways, we're going to go to break, and we're going to come into we're going to have a short segment here. We're going to just cover a little bit of MLB, and then we're going to jump back into a little bit of Northwestern, some NFL news, and then obviously some more college football. This is Jay Foreman, Austin, Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through July 11th are flat iron steaks for just $12.99 per pound, a $2 discount per pound from normal price. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations opening soon at 27th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha, with soft openings in mid-July. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and our Independence Day sale is underway with some great savings. Get 0.9% interest rates and a trade-in bonus on select new models. You heard right, 0.9% interest rates going on at Coppell. In addition, we didn't want to leave out our pre-owned inventory, so right now on all pre-owned cars, get $1,000 for bringing us your trade, and that's right, get $1,000 off any pre-owned car you trade in. So stop on in the store or at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine, but lots of warmth too. We'll see a high of around 93. Tonight, we'll see a chance of showers and storms in the low of around 67. And tomorrow basically looks like a repeat of today with more sunshine in the forecast, but can't loss of storms late in the day. Tomorrow, we'll see a high of around 92. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 92.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We are back. Old school, Jay Foreman, Austin. Jake just popped in here checking on the numbers, Jake. Jake, our numbers go up when you ain't here, so our views go up when you get up out the screen. Anyways, the Major League draft, Austin. Look, it was the first time one school had 1 and 2. What are your thoughts on that? Like I said earlier, I felt like the best prospect in the draft was the number 4 pick. I felt like he was the safest one. What are your thoughts?
I love me some Wyatt Langford, the number 4 guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, what a boon for the Rangers to have the year they're having and a guy that can probably fly up to the majors in the next year and a half, maybe 2. Huge get for them. What a cap to the year for LSU, right? You bring in a new football coach and Brian Kelly, thought of as kind of a weird fit, especially culturally, but you win your division. You win the SEC West in his first year. So there's that. We can write off men's basketball. They're still recovering from Will Wade, but women's basketball wins the national title.
Yeah.
Baseball wins the College World Series and has 2 guys go 1 and 2, basically be 1 and 2 on the draft board all year long. Just an incredible stretch for them. I mean, first time in baseball history, like you said, teammates go 1-2, which is harder to do in baseball given how that draft is structured compared to the NBA or NFL, but it speaks to the depth of talent. It speaks to what Coach Johnson is building at LSU. And really, any of those top 5 picks, you can tell me are going to be 5-time All-Stars, and I'll believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the thing is that's crazy is that, both, I think all of them will do well. I just think that they're ready to go. But, what's funny is I think Cruz, hit his first home run, I think, or off of his teammate when he was at Air Force. So that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Where you think of like just in 1 year's time, you hit a dinger off a dude, and here comes Skeens coming in there through the transfer portal, and he ends up going number 1. You go number 2.
Wait, aren't you the guy just hit my first home run?
Right.
Off of what are you doing here?
And I showed you up, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think it's just, LSU had a magical year. They had let themselves down multiple times. They had lost to Florida.
Right.
It was 2 or 3 years prior. Florida had been really consistent. It was kind of Florida and Wake Forest. I felt like LSU was more ready for the moment than Wake Forest. They have more depth. I think and I felt like even when Florida had that explosion in game 2, you could see in that championship game, LSU was very comfortable in muddy waters, very comfortable in that type of situation. Those 2 guys, Cruz and Skeens, showed it. It'll be interesting. And then obviously, the 28th pick, which was huge. I think it's huge for Nebraska baseball. I think it's huge for Will Bolt. I think it's huge for the program. I think it's huge for the aura around the program in the sense of like things are getting done a lot better than we didn't make we didn't make Omaha, or we didn't win the Big Ten. We need to fire Will Bolt. And now he's made some coaching changes, right? And rightfully so. You got Childress as the pitching coach, hired the other coach, and he's like a really good recruiter. But just to let you know, when you got a Bryce Matthews, big up to the Houston Astros. One of my favorite teams is the Twins and the Astros. Obviously, Twins homegrown,
right.
Astros and Orioles. Glad he's going down to Houston. I only met him a couple times, so if he's playing, I'm gonna go down there and try to see if I can swing for the fences or get it to the game. But it's good for him because I think he's going to a good organization, right?
Mhm.
And where he's gonna get in there and they're gonna groom him, and they don't have to throw him in there right away. I think that also a good thing with him is he's going back home. He was a quarterback in high school, so he has some kind of he's a competitor.
Big time.
And so he's dealt with pressure. When you're a quarterback in Texas, it's like being up at the bottom of the ninth in the state championship, and it's a 3-2, and you can't take that but last ball looking. So I think it's good for him. Max Anderson goes next. He goes 40 something, 45th, which I think is great. Look, it's been a very long time. You had two players that had this type of year, and then they get rewarded as well. So that lets you know that the development is there, local and national recruiting. Good for Nebraska baseball.
Two pitchers go today as well. Emmett Olson in the 4th round and Jace Kaminska.
Which is unique in the sense of the way that the offense was majority of the year with these two that we just mentioned, Matthews and Anderson. Pitching was looked at as the letdown. Well, two guys get drafted. So, it could just be, the thing that and again, I only played baseball until the coach wouldn't let me pitch one inning, and I started to play basketball. Right? I did. Look, my grandfather was a baseball player and a basketball player. I liked baseball. I didn't love sitting out there in those hot days. Okay, I'd rather had 10 pounds of pads on, running around hitting somebody. Being 47, I'd probably make another choice right now. But I like baseball enough to understand that baseball is a very finicky sport. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be a good player and just have an off year. You know what I'm saying? You might, if a hitter, if you don't have it, if you're a 4-hole, you don't have a 3, or maybe and now times you need a 2, 3, 5, and 6 so you can get your pitches. Or if you don't have if you just draw a bad draw and you're not scoring runs, and say you're playing against say you're playing Indiana twice in your rotation in the Big Ten, right? Playing, home and away, and and you give up 3 runs, but then you lose, like 3-1. Are you really a bad pitcher? Is it pitching or is it just circumstances? So I think there's some potential there. All of it bodes well for Nebraska baseball. Excited for them. Excited for especially, those guys that go on and be able to continue their career, and whoever else gets a chance as well. But I'd like to cover that. We'll dive some more into Northwestern. We got a new report here. I want to talk about that. Austin gave me an article. I want to get Austin's thoughts on the Instagram reel that I sent him and Rico. See if he thought you got to give me a scale 1 to 7. 7 being the funniest, 1 not very funny. I think it's a 7+. Top of the hour, Jay Foreman. Austin, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Generation V
is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
You deserve the best. With a Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The Liberty First Credit Union MasterCard has no balance transfer fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.99% APR, and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstcu.com. Rates and terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Keep your planter. Upgrade your technology with a John Deere Performance Upgrade Kit from Landmark Implement. Choose from ExactEmerge, MaxEmerge 5, or MaxEmerge 5E electric drive row units. Take your planter to the next level. Improve yield potential and profitability without buying new. Get new technology, increased performance, and confidence from your planter that's already in your shed. Contact your local Landmark location to order your John Deere Performance Upgrade Kit and experience the Landmark difference.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Quick question. Where does the term dog pop? 'Cause I've never seen a pile of dogs in my life. I've never seen that. If we've ever seen just driving down the road, there's like, oh, there's 12 dogs on top of each other. So where does dog pile come from?
Well, that's a good question.
And that is a standard.
That's a good question.
If you say dog pile to anyone, they know it. That's not dog pile. Never seen a pile of dogs. Never in my life.
I want to know where that comes from.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Old School, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, located 84th and Havelock. Every type of meat, every type of cut. They have a lunch special on Friday. That sandwich is slamming, but the butcher shop has everything, man. They have their own spices, sauces, seafood, big old thick pork chops, ribs, every type of steak. They have single size meals and family size, both frozen and ready to go. So go in there, don't be bashful, and tell them Jay sent you. But back to this Northwestern, there was another kind of sub situation with it of some racial undertones, I guess I could say it. And again, look, I don't get on the radio to be perfect. Okay. I can make my views and understand where I'm coming from. So for you people that want to like text in and stuff, you need to be calling it that. Like the dude up there was mad at me about Aaron Rodgers going into darkness. You deal with that. Aaron Rodgers went into darkness and sat in the room for 3 days. That sounds like a little bit less fun than me. But with Northwestern, there's allegations for some players that were willing to have their name out there about some situations they felt like that wasn't very welcoming to their background. So one had, I want to get this right, I guess, is it Latino?
Mm-hmm.
Latino, obviously, and then a black offensive lineman felt like it was very segregated. It says that majority of the majority of the black linemen, or all of them, transferred. He actually stayed all 4 or 5 years. Had some ongoing mental issues dealing with some of the stuff that was said to him or exposed to. The one thing that I'd have a problem with is like, if I was a freshman and you put it, like, obviously I'm not Latino, but Cinco de Mayo, I first of all, you're not putting that in my head. Okay. No. It seems like I said, I keep going back to this, and they were saying the Northwestern way of like having or supposedly Coach Fitzgerald asked or highly encouraged a coach to cut his dreads. It highly encouraged players to cut their dreads, cut their hair, to look like a wholesome American, more white or more acceptable black person to white people. That's what this article is saying by cutting your dreads, right? To me, that's I mean, I can't even believe we're in 2023. Like, that's the stuff you see like on CNN, and they're talking about like in Philadelphia where it happened. I remember seeing that where and it was like a fourth grader.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one that just came out, and look, they're standing on their statement, which is I just think that, and I remember hearing something about it because they said that obviously it was part of the reason why they made a conscious effort to hire more minority coaches in both position coaches and sub coaching positions, right? At Northwestern, because they felt like it was some issues. And first of all, I talked to a previous staff here about that, right? I've talked to high school coaches about that, right? And it's not hiring unqualified people, hiring people that are come in and help to bridge the gap. Because to be honest with you, if you're not exposed to growing up with people like, growing up with people that don't look like you, that have different haircuts, that you might view that they're different than you might say something that you might not really mean, but knowing it could be offensive to somebody else. And everybody has like a barometer of something that when you go too far, then it's up to that person to explain themselves, and it's up to you to accept it, whether you like it or not. On both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because I'm African American doesn't give me the leeway to only be the one to dish out the punishment, versus if I say something to you and whatever I could say that could be somewhat you think is offensive, it's got to be a two-way street, right?
It's man to man more than race to race.
Right. Yeah, it's man to man. So, and just how it so happens, I look different than you, and he looks different than whoever these players are. So I think, again, like I said at the beginning, here's what's, I think, unique, not in a good way, is that when we saw this, and there's no correlation between Nebraska not being allowed to play in this. This is totally different. But there is correlation to how it was handled by some big media members.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Howard, Will Bond. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you?
Yes.
Where are you right now? That's the only correlation. There isn't a correlation in what's going on. But when you have stuff like this, it's amazing how these people can really dig up some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So let's just play devil's advocate. Just say the first initial allegation didn't come out. Would the racial undertones one article came out on its own?
Probably not.
Right. So that whoever these players are were probably, or their names were given to them by probably the initial person. So you're just airing all the dirty laundry, right? So, it's just it's like I said at the beginning of the show. If I'm Pat Fitzgerald, I'm talking to my agent, I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to my coaches. They ain't having no vacation. They supposed to have a vacation now. They in Evanston or they meeting somewhere else. This is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to do. I am going to encourage them to keep everybody around for this year. You guys are going to, then obviously you're going to, then you're going to have to interview with the new coach. There has to be a conclusion of him not being a head coach. That's it. And there's more stuff to come. But then on the flip side, the equipment manager he stands on his, look, I give him all the respect about it. The young man, he's Eduardo Soto. I don't want to be butchering his name. You got a picture on there. He graduated. And he says, look, he was at Northwestern University, class of 2020. He was on the football program or involved with the football program from 2016 to 2021. He goes into some deep factual evidence for Coach Fitzgerald on how he handles situations, right? And he stands on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's for every, and so he had a good experience. So you just don't know where it's going to come up. And I always say this, look, man, there's always three sides to stories like this. Whoever made the initial allegations, whoever's rebutting them, which is obviously Fitzgerald, and the players that are, on his side or backing him or whatever, and what really happened in some form or fashion. The bigger thing is it versus people will be like, let's find out who made these initial. You'll find that that's kind of like low hanging fruit. The bigger deal is to find out who the 8 to 10 dudes are. That's who needs to be out there, because those guys seem to me that those were your what we use at like your unity council guys. Those are the guys that are supposed to be your leaders of your team. Those are the guys that actually are the buffer between the locker room and the coach, because the coach is thinking, and they're probably playing, they're probably being on their best behavior. So I'm entrusting you in my team, because by NCAA regulations, the coaches can't be around the kids less for like 20 hours during the season, I think. And then during the off season and during this time, because they just changed it, you're very rarely, if you're not in spring ball and stuff like that, you're not around the team in the summer.
It's on the strength coach.
It's all the strength coach,
right?
It's the strength coaches and your leadership. Those are the guys that are getting together. Like, like when I played, and this is a long time ago, obviously, but we get together and watch tape. We get together and train together, and we didn't have any cell phones, so we had to talk face to face. Hey, summer school schedule, we're going to lift after running Tuesday and Wednesday. Defense together, so, that's who really needs to be, and it should be, if you're doing some stuff like that or something to this magnitude, you gotta be, you're not going to be, you're not going to be able to be anonymous and stuff like that, because ultimately, I don't care if you got a mask on or not, you know who it is. I mean, look, there's only 100 guys on the team, or well, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can eliminate 70 of those guys just off the rip. Okay, so that leaves 30. So then you can start going down. Okay, well, he left. Okay, that's 10 guys there. So next thing you know, you down to like 15 guys. Figure it out. Not that you're gonna like throw those guys in jail, but you need to find out where it went wrong. Because so you got to find out where it went wrong. Whatever magnitude that it went wrong, right? So if it only happened, say, like a small fraction of what he's saying, or if it happened to the magnitude that he's saying and the magnitude of what the racial undertones are, you need to find out where it went wrong. If you did remedy it, did you do some culture training, right? I felt like there was a coach around here that had to find a way to have some sort of culture training in order to deal with people, or not deal with them, because I hate to say it when you're dealing with somebody, in order to not come off like you don't like somebody that doesn't like you, or doesn't look like you, or doesn't talk like you, and doesn't think like you. You know what I'm saying? Because I always say this, about the racism part. I can guarantee you, in all the years that all the years that I played, well, first of all, I know I played with dudes that were racist. I know that for a fact. I know I play with dudes that were racist against black people, and I know I play with black dudes that are racist against white people. That's factual. Okay. Neither one of them are right. Okay, so but those are the facts. I am willing to bet that, and I don't know, I'm willing to bet that I had a coach that didn't particularly care about black people that I had to deal with on the defensive side of the ball, whether he was my position coach, another position coach, a coordinator, or in some teams you'd have like assistant coach. You know what I'm saying?
Like support staff kind of people.
And and that even goes up into the GMs and the scouting department. I'm just willing to bet, and the 9 seasons that I was in the NFL and been a part of it, I can guarantee it. It's out. It happens. Now, what you have to do is Northwestern is, did you remedy it? It makes me think with these two kids that were talking about it, or they're grown men now, that it was brought to Pat Fitzgerald's attention, the university's attention. They made a conscious effort to hire more minorities and probably knew it was a problem. It is. And so and look, it's no different than here at Nebraska, because and this is not bringing Nebraska in a negative light, but then if you really get outside of the state lines in Nebraska, majority, you know how many times Austin and I've been asked in different places across the country, East Coast, West Coast, down south, do they have black people in Nebraska? Were there black people besides the football team in the state of Nebraska when you played? I swear to God. And it's asked by all across the board. White people, I mean, so white people, black people. So just their assumption is, right? If there's no black people in Nebraska, this is just what people assume. They assume there's no black people in Nebraska, and therefore the whole state of Nebraska is racist. That's just what people think. So negative recruiting, what other coaches do, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this business, whether they want to admit it or not, they'll take something of your personal belief or how they can kind of get a leg up on you and use it against you. So that's why you have to make sure that you're doing things above and beyond to make sure that people that aren't from here, that don't look like the majority of people here, are welcome. And that's why Nebraska is so great, because they feel that they continue to do it through their life skills, through their leadership, whether, obviously, Trev had been in the locker room, other people are more welcoming. And so you have to do that in order to be successful. Northwestern, it seems like up until recently, was not doing it. And maybe, and be honest with you, sometimes it comes down to the support in the football program to go and get the type of coaches that you need that can help recruit. And it's hard because people don't think about, they always think, well, you don't have a lot of minorities on your staff, right? That's simple. That's easy right there. But you also got to think of, okay, well, does Jay Foreman, just say if it was me, have the experience to go in and have the inroads to go and recruit the type of players that we need, white, black, or whatever, to go to Northwestern? Recruiting to Northwestern is different because I was recruited by Northwestern. I told you the story about it. I asked, can I get in? And he was like, well, get you. Barnett was like, get you in. My dad stood up on the coaches like, you going to keep his black butt in there. How you going to keep him in there? My dad knew my limitations, right? I knew my limitations as well. He didn't want to drive from Minneapolis to Chicago knowing I'm, got a 1.9 at Northwestern. That Northwestern alumni situation ain't going to do nothing for me, no matter how much I like Adrian Autry and whoever else is on the team. And so, I just think it's they're going to have to take a really big step back from their football program, and probably maybe their athletic department, but majority of their football program, and really look at things after this is settled, and they need to remedy some of it. And they have to act swiftly, and they have to be very clear, cautious, and precise when they do it. It's good. The timing of when they make decision, how they handle it, is going to be interesting. In particularly, in less than 60 days, they're going to be playing a game, not just going to practice. So in about 30 days, they go into practice. You have to have direction, because you do have an obligation to the kids on the team. You do.
You have to.
So you have to give them, you can't hold them accountable for other people's doing. Meaning you can't say, okay, well, we're just going to cancel the season, or we're going to give you, we're not even going to have any coaches. You can just coach it. You can't do that. You have to put a best foot forward, and you have to handle it the right way. So there's a lot of things they got to handle, but you have to have some sort of conclusion. And really, to be honest with you, when you gave out the 2-week suspension, you should have been already having these conversations, because you should have that person be like, well, what's the worst case scenario? This continues on. Okay, we got to go past 2 weeks. If you just thought 2 weeks is going to be sufficient enough, so be it. Then you have to go back to I'm assuming whoever did the investigate, whatever company you hired to do, they have to be pretty thorough.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't get Jay Foreman and Associates to go around and ask a couple people. You got some people that knew how to dig up some dirt and interview people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to call them back in. What did you miss? What are we missing here? Is there something that you didn't tell me about these rituals? I guess you call them rituals, I guess, or whatever. Did you know about this? Did you talk to this young gentleman about, or this gentleman about the whiteboard? Did you see the pictures? Because I wonder, did you not bring this to the? Well, then this is where you start to, presidents can lose their job, right? So I'm not sure who hires the president. Is that the Board of Regents? I have no idea.
Well, typically what happens is they'll, have a search firm recommend, candidates, and then I assume final approval goes through the Board of Regents. Yeah.
So if I'm on the Board of Regents, I mean, you got to start bringing all right.
On Michael Wilbon's Board of Regents.
Right. So if you're Wilbon, right, and just say the search firm says, I showed the president all this stuff that this dude's talking about in the article, and the president decided on it. My job is to investigate, not recommend. We gave him the information, and he chose to do 2 weeks on his own. Well, then that's how you get fired, right? I'm assuming the president ran it by the Board of Regents because the Board of Regents want to be abreast of it. They're just right in there with him. They're pretty much quasi-presidents, in different form or fashions. So it brings everybody into this, and it's going to be interesting how they handle it and who gets caught when the music stops without a chair to sit down on. First of all, we know Pat Fitzgerald has missed the merry-go-round. He's out. Who else is going to be with him, or is it just going to be him, and how is it handled with him moving forward? And what he does to take some sort of responsibility, because he can really, to be honest with you, say, listen, I don't have guilt in this, but I feel like as a leader, if a true leader, I could have done this better. You can admit that I could have done this better. I didn't. I felt like I talked to the leadership about it to Nixon it, and maybe I didn't check it up. Only checked up on it twice. I need to do it 3 or 4 times. This is what I'm going to do, just as a Northwestern alum, to remedy this and get whatever. It's kind of surprising about the whole Wildcat Way and all this other stuff, and with the haircut thing. There's 2 ways to look at it, right? And really probably the idea behind it probably had some sort of like trying to help them long term. In reality, probably I can guarantee the way they went about it and the stuff they were saying was probably completely wrong and ignorant. Because it's always that first impression. And the people that you might be going to interview a job for have a pitch. I mean, this is what people don't understand and don't want to come to terms with. A lot of times if you're a minority, they just have a picture of what they view as an employee. It doesn't matter if a white dude comes in there and he has long hair and he has a man bun. Some guys don't want to hire anybody with long hair, right? Or something like that. So maybe that's it. But the way they probably went about it was probably 100% wrong. And then also, they probably didn't do a good enough job of asking them, hey, explaining their position, right? You get what I'm saying? So Pat Fitzgerald could be wrong in his thinking, but explain it to you. And then Austin, you say, hey, coach, that's completely wrong. This is why. Then it gives the coach a chance to go back, hopefully talk with himself or whoever and look at things differently, and that's his job. It's his job to initiate that conversation. We talked about this earlier about coaches here in Lincoln. Don't sit up here and talk about who's transferring in and out of your program when you ain't talked to your players. You're the adult. You're the leader. I don't know how much he's getting paid.
$5.7 million.
Okay, there it is. $5.7 million. It's your job to have a conversation with Austin individually about these type of things, the Wildcat Way. Explain it in depth. That's your job.
This situation, again, as we get more and more reports going both ways, what it feels like to me is that there's at least some aspect of truth to all of this.
It's not. I don't think it just came out of the sky.
Out of nowhere. No, and that's where we hear a lot about how the best locker rooms are player-led, right? It takes something off the coach's plate when he has captains he can trust. Well, it sounds like Pat Fitzgerald didn't, right? The captains weren't policing the locker room, so it sounds like Pat Fitzgerald was used to relying on the captains, maybe had a bats that didn't live up to the expectations like he thought, so he thought he could be hands-off, right?
But that's probably when you got to be the most hands-on.
Right, and that's the thing. So maybe he's used to doing it one way. He's used to it being player-led, but maybe that situation needed to come more top-down. You need to insert yourself for that year to say, here's a reminder, here's how we do things. right or wrong.
Right.
On the flip side, if the whole Wildcat Way thing is true, that to me is being too top down when you need more player input.
Yeah.
Right. It's the inverse where the players need to be free to express themselves.
Right.
Like it's hair.
Yeah.
It's hair.
Right.
It's not the end of the world. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, you should
if guys have
I mean,
dreads. But at the
have
same
it.
time, the players have to be able to feel open enough to talk to their coach like, hey, coach, here's why my dreads, for example, mean a lot to me. Here's why I'd like to keep them. Pat Fitzgerald can say, okay, I understand you. We haven't done it this way before. Is there a middle ground we can reach?
Right. Yeah, you can. But he also could do some stuff where you have people come in. I know they do this down at the stadium where you have people come in and give haircuts, have somebody come in and do braids or whatever.
Make an event of it.
Or
team
just,
bonding.
just understand that, hey, look, man, his coach, hey, man, he's cool. He's helping us, and I mean, Chicago's a big city. Finding somebody, finding a place to get a haircut is always huge and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just think like the Iowa situation, with their weight coach, and it's two different things, but this is obviously kind of a little bit of the caveat that's with it. There's always stuff that wasn't done right, which is everybody thought the Iowa players were just looking for money. Well, the reality was it was going on for a long time. They did get paid, and the coach got fired, and for justifiably so. Kurt Ferentz kept his job. I was a little off the beaten path a little bit more in Northwestern. I don't think Pat Fitzgerald makes it. I don't think it makes it. But anyways, good first segment. We're going to go to a short break, get back into it a little bit. I'm going to read this tweet by Mr. Soto, see what he says. Dive into that. Hey, and I want to give props to my man Cooper. He's playing over in Wilmington. And he's a little young man, 16. I tried to recruit him from Kansas to play basketball. He's dang good at tennis, so he's playing. I got to watch him on ESPN Plus. Pulled out his doubles match. Got it crunk a little bit, so I want to give him props. Jay Foreman, Austin, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through July 11th are flat iron steaks for just $12.99 per pound, a $2 discount per pound from normal price. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations opening soon at 27th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha, with soft openings in mid-July. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. July marks 8 years of the Body Shop being open for business and serving Lincoln the best massage options in the area. Dennis and his team would like to thank all customers who have stopped in and let them relieve the pains and stress in their lives. Your continued business allows them to do what they are passionate about. Book an appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop, your go-to for all types of massages at 48th and A.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I
love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
The Nebraska Lottery presents one beautiful, crazy scratch ticket and promotion. It's the $5 Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket with a $50,000 top prize. Enter non-winning Luke Combs scratch tickets for an opportunity to win a trip to Nashville, a private concert with Luke at the Ryman Auditorium, and a chance at $500,000. The Living Lucky with Luke Combs concert experience will hit you like a hurricane. Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine, but lots of warmth too. We'll see a high of around 93. Tonight, we'll see a chance of showers and storms in the low of around 67. And tomorrow basically looks like a repeat of today with more sunshine in the forecast, but can't lots of storms late in the day. Tomorrow, we'll see a high of around 92. Meteorologist Kyle Cutter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Old school Jay Foreman, Austin. On the ones and twos. It's Northwestern Monday. You know, Pat Fitzgerald probably has about 24 hours. Do you think he goes in there and he tries to get some more like Under Armour stuff? Are they Under Armour team?
Think so.
Yeah, try to get as much as you can. Understand. I should be laughing like that, man. But look, man, I answer some of these texts, man. I appreciate you guys in here on the text line. We have one. AA Ron, he's right. He's like, you're lucky that there isn't, somebody come back and retaliate. I don't believe in like the weapons and stuff, but I mean, you're lucky. And there was a good question here. I think one of them is how do you know it was the same 10 guys? You really don't. I'm just assuming.
Well, it started with 8 to 10 the first time it happened, and then there's got to be that number each year.
Yeah,
different guys, but someone learned it from someone.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Just who are the guys that this dude is referring to? That's all I want to know, is because I'm sure it was before and after and all that. You talk about the one of the was it Crowbait says that cutting the dreads is when remember the Titans and Coach Boone makes him Sunshine cut his hair. I don't really remember, but maybe so.
But again, that was targeted at one player.
Yeah, I don't
remember the Titans also wasn't about the 2000s.
Yeah,
a little more historical than that.
Yeah. This is just. Look, we talk about the Yankees and they think you only can have a mustache and stuff like that. I mean, every place you got rules and stuff like that. So you got to be able to, and rules have probably been a little bit more lenient. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes like Garrett Cole, he went there, he had to, shave his facial hair if he wanted to be a Yankee, and it's probably, what he's getting paid is probably worth it. And the kids at Northwestern, I think there was a way that Pat Fitzgerald could have went about it and not just being so stuck in his ways. Probably could get away with it probably earlier in his career because it was the society is a little different. Now you have to be cognizant of the society. That doesn't mean you don't coach. That means you just adjust, right? And you have to do things that you normally wouldn't do. You have to support your players in things that they believe in, even if you don't necessarily believe in it. You have to support your players. They are your lifeline, right? And so, it's no different when George Floyd came out and thing or whatever. Players wanted to go to support. You have to support the players in doing so. So it's just one of those things that Northwestern is going to have to deal with. Look, we talked about last week. The University of Minnesota dealt with this tenfold. They dealt with a huge sexual allegation on the football team that led to Jerry Kill essentially being jettisoned, even though he had health issues. And then obviously eventually hiring a PJ Fleck, taking over kind of a la mini version of Baylor. But the stuff that had been going on in the Minnesota Gophers athletic department, as far as sexual harassment, sexual assault, just, the grade scheming thing all the way back to when I was in high school or first in college, had been going on for some time. And so nobody is above these type situations, you know what I mean, if it gets out of hand. And so I think this is just an example of whatever happened here started out one way, and I think it grew like a moss or like a virus, and whoever the ones that took it way too far, should be brought in and have to answer some questions, because they affected a lot of people. You affected the football program. I'm sure they felt like they feel like whoever they are, feel like they love Northwestern, right? Feel like their experience was good, but obviously their experience of some other players obviously weren't so good. So they got to deal with some stuff, and it's going to take some. This isn't going to be fixed by firing the coach.
No,
this isn't going to be fixed by hiring a new coach. This is only going to be fixed with conscious effort by the university athletic department and the new coach and the whole thing of finding the facts out, big, small, or super large, dealing with them, remedying them, and then moving forward.
The issue, I think, at the crux of this, it comes down to trust, right? Northwestern trusted Pat Fitzgerald. Pat Fitzgerald trusted his locker room. And one of the things you say is, how is a coach supposed to, patrol the locker room? He's got other stuff to do. He can't be in there all the time. Do you want to put cameras in the locker room? No one's calling for that. But why I say it comes back to trust is because whoever it is that Northwestern hires, they have to trust to be better than the previous staff was, without probably much experience, without knowing them all that well.
Right.
Just through the interview process and the vetting process there. You have to trust the next guy with so little to go off of.
Yeah.
That's a big leap, because if that guy lets you down, the problem gets worse.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like you said, a new hire isn't going to fix it, not right away.
No.
Right? So you have to trust the next guy has been vetted to the best of your ability, and you have to trust that he has the formula to make things improve,
right?
Even though it's not going to happen in 1 year.
Yeah.
Maybe not even in the first recruiting class. Right.
No, it's going to be a while. It's going to be 5+ years. Doesn't mean you can't win. Doesn't mean you can't go to bowl games. But the only thing that's going to fix this is true conscious effort over time. That doesn't mean I don't even want to call it bend over backwards, but totally do about face. But, adjust, be more welcoming, look at it, other people's views. That's the problem with a lot of these type of situations is you probably never been exposed, right? And a lot of these people that are, high net worth, wealthy people probably aren't exposed to a lot of people that look like me or just, right? And let's just be honest, they didn't probably grow up that way, and you can't fault them for being family wealthy, right? You only can fault them by not being open to a conversation. You can fault them by having a negative stereotype against Jay Foreman and not knowing Jay Foreman, right?
For having a negative stereotype without trying to get to know.
Right. Or just have, it's just no different than me having a negative stereotype against Austin, right? That's not fair to you. It isn't, right? So that's where you can fault them. Otherwise, the effort has to be there. It's no different than when you talk about the NFL and their hiring practices, right? They're generally going to hire people they like, hire people that they view that want to represent their franchise. But that doesn't mean that if you hire somebody that is not white, that they can't be successful. You got Mike Tomlin. He's phenomenal. You had other coaches, Tony Dungy and all that. That doesn't mean you have to hire a black coach like Mike Tomlin. That means you can't be afraid of an Eric Bieniemy. That means you can't sit there and hang your hat on something maybe Eric Bieniemy did in college. You can't say that he's not a good interview. he obviously has been able to handle Patrick Mahomes and have a big influence on Hall of Fame players throughout his whole dang career. Adrian Peterson, Patrick Mahomes, he's worked with Brad Childress, Andy Reid. You have to open your horizons. It's not going to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Those positions have responsibilities. So really what it comes down to is don't take the shortcut, right? You're being paid to make these big decisions, to get to know people. Get to know people.
Right. And try to unconsciously do it, but consciously get to know them. And whoever you hire, right? You know, don't go out there and do these things and just say, okay, I'm just going to, you know what, we have to hire a minority coach. Then you're going to be sitting up there and then he has to deal with, well, I only hired you because you're a brother, right? I don't want you to hire me because I'm a brother, but because then I got to deal with that. And then I know you're ready to fire me.
And that's just the Band-Aid, right? If you say, you know, you have to hire a minority just to hire a minority, that's a Band-Aid, right? You did it because you had to. That's not as good as doing it because you want to, because you went through the process, because you vetted.
And he's the best one and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got to hire somebody that's going to welcome be welcoming to this junk and not run away from it. Because even if, say, I'm the new head coach at Northwestern, right? Even though we could be, you know, say like in 2 years, I'm 3-1 or whatever there's going to be a reporter that still hasn't got answers for this situation that's going to ask me about it. I can't be like, well, I wasn't here. Tough. So you have to welcome this challenge. And you have to, in the only way that you're going to have somebody that's going to be able to welcome this challenge or be able to deal with it is get to know them, understand what they're built upon, and you know, kind of be the new face of this new Northwestern. You got a new football facility coming in, new stadium. You're going to have to embrace that as well. It's not going to be easy, but eventually, if you put through the hard work and dealing with some hard times, it's going to work itself out. So it's a sticky situation. I'm assuming I guess I'll assume. I wouldn't say I'd like to assume. I assume within 48 hours, there's going to be some sort of relief there. I just wonder what the collateral damage is and how far this goes.
Because you can't fire the whole staff right now. Like, if you fire that whole staff and make a new one come in now, you may as well just shut the program down for a year, right? So some members of that staff are going to be there still, but what does that look like after the year?
Right. Well, yeah, they'll probably all be, and that sucks for them. Just say you were a new coach that that got hired in this, because he hired a lot of new like young coaches. So just imagine if you're that, and then you only been there and you last in a year, and that happens. It happened here. You know, now not to this situation, but coaches get fired or hired and fired, and that's just part of being in the coaching business. But it sucks because you probably came there thinking that you can make a way for yourself and kind of be in a stable program and be like, okay, well, we know you kind of project. Like, I accept the job, understanding and assuming at this time Coach Fitzgerald, or in this case, say like go for Jim Harbaugh or one of those, they'll be there. But in this situation, you took the job and you up out of there. So you're gone. But they're gonna
25 seconds ago, Pete Thamel, sources, Northwestern has fired Coach Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it just has to happen. But people are gonna run with it and say, okay, well, he's guilty or whatever. But this is something that had to happen. They probably need to fire him Sunday. The pressure is mounted, and it's something that they had to do. And that's all there is to it. And
well, it goes back to what you were saying in the crossover, right? I mean, we don't know exactly what happened yet because we're getting reports both ways. But given the negative headlines,
you got to.
Right.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're Pat Fitzgerald, if you love your university, you got to do whatever. I wonder who's been with them the longest. Is it, because those are the ones that might be along with them, right? The offensive line coach and stuff has been there. I think the running backs coach been with them for a while. I think because I always tweet out his picture because he has a funny picture of when the Northwestern lost to Nebraska on the Hail Mary. So it'll be interesting to see. I think everybody's on a red alert basis now. Coach Fitzgerald's gone or whatever. So I'd be very disappointed in them if they shut down the whole season. I think they can just find a way. They got to it's kind of like when Trev fired Frost. It's not ideal. I'm sure when the coaches took over, probably thought like, okay, there's a low percent. We got to really move heaven and earth to keep this, keep us together, or keep Mickey and so forth and so on. But the one thing I always give credit to that staff after Frost is they did everything they could for those kids to do what Trev set out to do, give them the best chance to have a good senior year. They still have to do that here at Northwestern. These kids have trained all off season. I know these allegations are bigger than football, but when you're dealing with, I can separate that and deal with football. You have to put somebody in an intern basis and move forward. You have to. And if you already fired him, you already kind of moved towards that. You can't shut down the season. This is a allegation person, and Pat Fitzgerald deal, and whoever else was involved in it or knew of it, and that's the higher ups. I don't think any of the assistant coaches or any of these present day players, unless they were involved, they're going to be held accountable. So we'll see what happens by the time we come on air tomorrow. We'll probably really know if he's fired or not. Probably by when we come out of this break and get our short segment, we'll see. We'll start checking around and start doing our own investigation. Orman and Foreman investigative. This is our first job here, and see what we can do. But we're going to take a short break, come back, and see what we can find. Jay Foreman, Austin, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V
is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore with the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
The Nebraska Lottery presents one beautiful crazy scratch ticket and promotion. It's the $5 Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket with a $50,000 top prize. Enter non-winning Luke Combs scratch tickets for an opportunity to win a trip to Nashville, a private concert with Luke at the Ryman Auditorium, and a chance at $500,000. The Living Lucky with Luke Combs concert experience will hit you like a hurricane. Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Are you ready to upgrade your combine? Don't wait. Act now to choose from the widest selection of used combines at Acres Equipment. Acres, the nation's largest John Deere combine dealer, is offering 2.9% interest for 60 months on over 100 pre-owned combines. Go to acres.com to view a huge inventory of low-hour, late-model John Deere combines. Find what you like, and we'll deliver it to your farm for free. Acres, solutions for every field.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com. where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School with DP and J.
As long as it's taken for him to build up that program to be pretty successful by their standards and look, pretty successful by Big Ten West standards, you have to take that into accountability. You can't be an impulsive, in-the-moment type of decision maker, because how you handle Pat Fitzgerald could stymie you from hiring, because those coaches talk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, we're back. Short segment. Our investigative reporting is pretty suspect at best. I haven't seen anything about the report. Didn't hit the four-letter network, so we don't know yet. But I will say this, though. In the break, I watched that same reel 4 more times. Whoever Maddox is, it must be the bench coach or a bench coach for the Texas Rangers. I gotta find out who he is.
Mike Maddox.
Mike Maddox. My man ran out there and the ump looked at him like, man, who the hell are you? And do you want some of this business too? Maddox got 2 words in, gone. Bruce Bochy, gone. And the thing is, I think Bochy was making some headway. Then he just must have said there must have been enough, and he said, you guys need to go ahead and get some sunflower seeds in the locker room, man. Take the night off. That's the best thing about it is this dude. And the ump looks like he might be. Rico got him by a couple inches.
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
clearance.
So I saw
Rico's posting him up.
You know what's funny is I saw that Shaq was in Las Vegas for the summer league. I think it looked like. I've met Shaq before. And when I met Shaq, he dapped you up and stuff. It felt like and you'll experience this, like when your kids come up and hug you when they first start running, and they're like just grab you by the leg. That's how it felt like when I dapped up with Shaq. I felt like a little kid. I'm significantly taller than Rico.
Oh yeah,
I would have liked to seen a picture of because Shaq is a big dude. I didn't realize how big Shaq was, like physically big. Until actually I went to the Timberwolves would always battle when they had KG and Stephon Marbury and one of my also favorite players, Tom Gugliotta. They had a good team, but they'd always play the Lakers around like Christmas or right after like New Year's. So I was able to score good seats, and Shaq was there, and this is when he kind of he'd been lifting weights and stuff like, and I was like, oh my God. This is when he was yoked up, Shaq Diesel. I didn't realize how big he's a big dude, and he's even bigger now. I would have liked to seen a picture of him and Rico.
Oh my gosh. Didn't he like date some really short lady for a while?
He was a basketball player. You know who else made me really, really small? Was Yao Ming.
Oh my gosh.
I met he's a full 7'6". So here, I'll tell you the story before we go to break. So I was playing with Houston. It was my birthday. I was a huge Rockets fan, and a person that worked in their sports information, their media department was in Houston when I first got there. Then he took the job with the Rockets, and we had the same dentist, so he'd make our special mouth guards. So it kind of connected. Went to the Houston Rockets game for my birthday. They hooked it up. They didn't do a big thing; just gave me like courtside seats. But one of the things was as my birthday present, because I was a big Yao Ming, because Yao Ming had a song like Yao Ming, Yao Ming, Yao Ming. They had a song, yeah. I got to meet Yao Ming, so they take me in the back, right, and all the other players come out, and I've seen him before or whatever, and here comes Yao Ming. I was like, holy, you know what? And then I was like, well, how am I going to speak to him? Because at that point in time, he never spoke any English. He always had to interpret. He actually knew English very well. He told me, he's like, I just don't feel confident enough to talk in front of camera. Then he does now. He's like, what's up, brother? Dead serious. I was like, whoa. I was like, what? I was like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, happy birthday. This, and this. And, that was it. And he's bigger than Shaq.
That's crazy.
Yao Ming.
Yeah, I found that picture I was referring to.
Yeah.
She's
was
5'2".
Yeah, and wasn't she on like an MTV show?
I think so.
Yeah, so so Shaq's at least 7 feet, right? 7'1".
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's a foot
2
or 2 feet taller than her. Yeah, because Rico's 5'4". I'm 6'3". So I'm almost a foot taller than Rico. And he's 2 feet taller than her. It's like you ever go to like the pool and see like the dad with his kid on his shoulder and he's throwing him up and launch him in there.
Yeah.
That's what he was with that girl. They're throwing her up in the air and stuff like that, man. That's crazy. Whee! Yeah. But anyways, a little bit light to, try to bring it to the end of the show. Obviously, the Northwestern thing is going to be ongoing. I'm sure that if you refresh your Twitter here within the next couple hours, we'll have some sort of leeway, because if that hit the airwaves, eventually the true story or true firing or whatever is going to come out later on. And I'm assuming they can say, hey, we're going to relieve you and work out the exit package afterwards. Even though if they're trying to fire him for cause, I'm sure he could fight it and make it costly and not worth their time. So anyways, Northwestern, Shaq, Enrico, and more importantly, what's his name? Was it DeJesus?
DeJesus.
What's the first name?
Ramon. Ramon DeJesus.
DeJesus. I love you, my brother. Keep being strong. Hold your ground. I got to find out. I just got to see him in action, because he just has a straight up gangster. He might have the best ejection ever. Anyways, old school, we are out of here.
The Nebraska Lottery presents one beautiful crazy scratch ticket and promotion. It's the $5 Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket with a $50,000 top prize. Enter non-winning Luke Combs scratch tickets for an opportunity to win a trip to Nashville, a private concert with Luke at the Ryman Auditorium, and a chance at $500,000. The Living Lucky with Luke Combs concert experience will hit you like a hurricane. Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Are you ready to upgrade your combine? Don't wait. Act now to choose from the widest selection of used combines at Acres Equipment. Acres, the nation's largest John Deere combine dealer, is offering 2.9% interest for 60 months on over 100 pre-owned combines. Go to acres.com to view a huge inventory of low-hour, late-model John Deere combines. Find what you like, and we'll deliver it to your farm for free. Acres, solutions for every field.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Hey, CNC machinists, do you feel like you're in a dead-end job with your boss hovering over your shoulder? That's so annoying. Not at Garner Industries. We've